Hello and welcome to another wonderful session on the Growth Mindset Collective with my beautiful friend Nikki Hall. Hi Nikki, how are you today?
Hi, I'm
Hello.
great. It's Monday and I'm great. Figure that
Awesome.
out.
Yeah, I almost forgot it was Monday. I think I was like, oh yeah, I have to take my kid to school. But anyhow, we are here today with the topic on the mirror of growth. Changing you changes everything. Now, for some people, it might be a little bit of a sticky subject, but so often we look outside ourselves for answers, waiting for circumstances, people, or opportunities to shift before we feel at peace or successful. I know I've been there a few times, but what if the real transformation actually begins within? What if the outer world is simply a reflection of our inner world, a mirror showing us who we are being, not what we are missing? This session is about reclaiming that power, so let's jump into it. And of course, I love to hear what Nikki has to say. Nikki, take it away.
Well, first thing I want to say is uh, Ava outlined something that is really important, and she said waiting and wanting. And that is a statement of something being away from you and not being of you. So that in itself is a huge issue of self-correction. So, starting to develop your own self-awareness or an awareness is really important. If you look at your millionaire and multimillionaire friends, although they look like they're not doing anything, you can see that they have certain awarenesses or they're doing certain inventories sometimes when they come in. All their different methods are different according to their personality type, but they are all environmentally aware and self-aware. I can I can guarantee that because you have to be in control. If you're talking about an issue, obtaining your goals, becoming that better person, gaining better health, anything, if you are using a goal that is stated in a position that is away from you, then it you need some to bridge that gap and you need to be with your goal. So you need to become the image. Be the image and you become the reality. Right, Ava?
That's right. I love that. Keep going. I know we have more.
um, the way we're going to do that is we have to take control of certain images that we hold in our mind and the feelings we carry and the self that you embody. So all of this is literally self-awareness, so that your reality isn't random, it isn't unintentional, and it has no power. So you want to have something that isn't random, you want something that is intentional, and you want something that is definitely a power of strength for creation. Um, so honestly, a big part of it is the power of self-concept. Center your reality, center your self universe, if you will. We all have a different language to term that so that we're not going against our own uh, quiet and subtle, yes, beliefs, manner of thinking. Because when you're creating and when you're trying to achieve, you have to be able to say yes. And not always a big yes, but a quiet yes in your subconscious to gather that energy to cause that hertz in measurements in frequency that will cause the vibration, that will cause the attraction. Um, so, I'm believing in myself right now, and it's serving me to become what I want. That's how it works. Sounds so simple, right?
Definitely. And there can be so much said when it comes to this whole topic. But today, of course, we're giving you a glimpse. Um, I remember when I first went into this program, there were some things it didn't resonate. Like, I was like, is it really me? Like, am I really mirroring everything? And at first it took me some time, and then I realized when I reflected, when I did the journaling and things like that, I did see the patterns that were repeating in my life, the loops I was living in and stuff like that. So when I started doing the inner deeper work from within, then it actually all started making sense because I was carrying things from when I was maybe a teenager, sometimes a child, and all these things when triggered down the road when I was 20, 30, whatever, there was certain things would come up, and then I would finally understand why they were showing up because my awareness changed. I now use the mirror to my advantage, you could say. Whereas before, I would use the mirror to my disadvantage. I would look at it as like, oh, I don't like that, or something. But now I understand the process. I know what it does. So it is really important to start the work from within. Lasting change happens when we shift from inside out.
You know,
So I believe there's so much truth to that. And when we finally upgrade our self-concept, our life can transform to the level we never thought we could, because our awareness was stuck in something else, and we start looking from a new identity instead of from the old identity, because you cannot change when you're still in the old you. And you're like, oh, I want to be a millionaire, but you're still thinking the old you got to step into the new identity and live from that, and keep going and growing from that, and so on. So that's why I say it's such a vast topic, but we'll try to do the best we can today.
yes, there's a lot to talk about, but what Ava's saying is interesting because it's what we have to practice and it's what we have to do. Now, just recently I leveled up. I achieved one of my big goals. It took me like 3.5 years of steady go, 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 and I achieved and I leveled up. Now, from what Ava's telling you to do, it's easy for your self-confidence or for your self-talk or for your comfortable place to say, yeah, well, I don't know any of this, or I don't know what that means, and so on and so forth. And it's true, it isn't. You have to be the image maker. You have to craft the image of yourself, what you want in life, what your relationships are like, what you desire, what you crave in success, all that kind of stuff. And you have to do the best, and you have to use the tools that you presently have. You can't condemn yourself for the tools you don't yet have. And some of the tools you don't yet have, you don't have them because you haven't leveled up. You haven't moved to that level yet. And I can tell you for absolute certain that when you get to that level, you're unfolding and you're living everything we just preached to you. And you'll be in a quiet moment, and some of these things that Ava mentioned to you will come up. But they're a little different now. They come up and you think, oh, what are you doing? Like, what is that character doing here? And it's like, oh, I used to be like that. Isn't that interesting? And you could see the chasm and the distance. And I really feel strongly that once you see your personality, and once you talk, Ava talked about evolution, and when you were younger, you learned something, and when you were an adult, it revealed itself or was still had an expectation, a level of expectation. When that happens, when you see it either from these two levels, from seeing it from when you're a child to yourself, your logic, trying to put that into a situation for you to handle, or for after you level up and it just kind of lingers on and it goes by like, hey, hi, it's me.
Yeah.
It's your job to recognize it and put it someplace.
Mm-hmm.
So your self-talk here is really important. We have to be careful that we don't talk meanly or derogatory or anything. We have to say, oh, wasn't that a good thing? Wasn't that an interesting thing that got me to this point? Wasn't that a useful tool? Wasn't that wonderful? Oh, that was from my mother. Isn't that great? I don't need you now. Thank you very much. Go take your place or go help somebody else now, but you have to get some kind of manner of thinking to move it, but remain positive.
Mm-hmm.
The things we learned got us to where we are. Um, like George Carlin, he used to be he was a great comic. And Vincent Price, a really scary guy who made all those scary movies, he asked him, wouldn't you like to go back and fix something about yourself? And this man said, no, because I like myself. And if I would have changed anything of value behind me, it would change who I am.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't matter. Good, bad, miserable experience, horrendous car crash, whatever it is, it all is yours. You own it, take the ownership of it, be happy for it. And if it's not serving you anymore, say thank you and ask for it to move on or pray that it moves into a spot that's could just linger there and stay a little light for the rest of your life. Whatever is instrumental for you in your manner of thinking, stay positive. While you're crafting your image, stay grateful for it. Be the
Yeah,
image maker.
exactly. One thing that really helped me throughout my personal development through the years is Dr. Wayne Dyer's quote. I met actually Dr. Wayne Dyer in Vancouver in 2012. God bless his soul. And I loved his quote: when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And I kind of borrowed his quote for many years because at first, like going back to kind of the way we see things when we're younger and then going back, you know, I always looked at things a certain way. You know how sometimes kids get upset and like, oh, I can't believe the parent told me no, and then we put on a fuss about it, and then and then we start telling ourselves these things, even though that thing finished a long time ago. Sometimes they linger in our subconscious and whatnot, and then sometimes years go by before you finally decide to get rid of it. And then so I realized it's like, why don't I just change the way I look at things? When I heard that first time, I'm like, that is brilliant. I know it made us sound like really haven't heard of that, but it depends how you grow up. Everybody grows in different environments. Sometimes we don't study the same thing somebody else, and so on. Like I grew up in a family that doesn't really run a business versus some people, all they ever did from the beginning was build a business, right? So it depends the environment you're growing up. So Dr. Wayne Dyer's quote really stuck with me throughout the years, and that's how I saw. It's like, what if I looked a different way at this situation? And then now, fast forward, I look at it as like, is this something I was telling myself? Is because somebody can upset you, and then you
Absolutely.
can just let it go like that. But sometimes we stick with it for years. It's like, well, I can't believe they said that 10 years ago. And it's like, well, why are you so hung up on it? Like, who's feeding you're the only one who's feeding those thoughts. That was 10 years ago and you're still reliving that? Like, come on, right? So I realized, you know what, sometimes we hold on to things for too long, and that's why we're in loops, in patterns, and then we wonder why we can't move past that. So I realized that, a lot of things that were just in my mind. Those things were done a long time ago. It's like, it's time to release that. It doesn't serve me. That mirror needs to change, and it needs to change now. And you gotta move on into a newer, like you have to become new identity if you want to move past that. You can't be stuck in the old identity. So it was a very great awareness for me. when it happened, and I'm so grateful for it. And that's another thing. When we realize these things, we want to be in gratitude that life is showing us how to, clean up our act, I would say. you know
Yeah.
yeah. So I was really happy, that I was able to shift out of this, because sometimes they just linger for too long because we let it. It's like that little inside voice won't quit it. But anyhow, what else did you want to mention, Nikki?
Well, Ava, what you said is so good. And what our master mind teachers have taught us is to go over a point that gets a little dig in you, maybe makes you go, I know that, or causes any kind of reaction. And what Ava has said makes so much sense and could cause so much depth for you that I want to encourage you to listen to what she said over and over and over again. Because, like, when we watch television, I like to watch my favorite shows and I look at them and I think I know stuff. And then they threw in something I don't know and I think, oh, and I try to remember that vocabulary, that point of view, or whatever. And then the second time I see it, I'm more comfortable at understanding the oh, and then I get a little more depth, I get a little more vision, I get a little more perspective of the room. So, what was said here is instrumental for possibly moving your mountain. So, listen to this over and over and over again.
Well, thank you, Nikki. But like right now, I set intention throughout the day, and sometimes, I remind myself, but each day I begin with, who am I being today? What am I starting with? Because saying, oh, I'm gonna have a wonderful day, sometimes it doesn't work anymore. You have to, like Nikki was saying, you're upgrading, you're changing your vocabulary, you're not the same person, you're not gonna repeat the same affirmation for 10 years that haven't worked. That means you're shifting, you gotta shift, go with something new, right? So it's like, who am I being today? Journal what the world has been reflecting lately back to you. Where is it taking you to grow? You know, use mirror affirmations if you have to, right? Look into your eyes and say, I'm the greatest, coach alive, or whatever works for you, whatever your business is, right? And grow with that, expand. Each day is, filled with new possibilities. So why stop? And something that happened 5, 10 years ago, each day can give you something new. And that's why I love that quote from Dr. Wayne Dyer. And it helped me through many things to reflect and grow. You can't be stuck in something forever. Like, you're just not
Yes.
growing then. Yeah.
So an easy game plan would be identify your current self-image, decide on your new one, and step into that image daily. Feel it, think it, act it, make your internal self feel a reality, and the world will eventually flow in that very manner for you.
Yeah. You know what I started doing lately? I take a piece of paper and write old me, new me. And then if there's something that shows up, and it's something maybe new, and I notice that pattern and I write it down. That's the old me. You know what I do right away?
So smart.
No, not today. And then I write the new identity. I like literally tell it, no, not today. And that's what I started doing too. Like if I'm at the store or somebody cuts me off on the highway or something, I say, no, not today. I can't be bothered with that. And then I move on. Instead of getting suckered into that energy, I said, no, 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 not today. And then move on. You gotta make a joke out of it sometimes and make it light, because otherwise you feel that energy change so fast. And you're like, ooh, you catch it. It's like, ooh, I didn't want to go that route. So we
Yes. And
realign.
another edge that helps with that, Ava, is if you visualize your day in the morning. And then when you come across something like Ava's doing, you think, that wasn't part of the vision. I don't
Yeah.
care. I'm
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
keeping
Yeah.
on going.
It's like, back up here. That wasn't part of the plan. Nope.
Sorry.
Yeah. So, Yeah, it does take work. However, you have to, in a ways, make a decision that going forward, this is not where you want to be anymore, and you have to shift into the new identity. Otherwise, really, things are not really gonna change that much for you unless you make that decision that this is what you want. And so basically, every relationship, every challenge, and every success is a reflection of the energy you hold within. You are not a victim of your circumstances, but the artist of your experiences. So when you shift your mindset, you shift your world, honestly. So today, take a moment to appreciate the reflection staring back at you, because that reflection holds infinite potential. So the moment you change, everything else begins to move in harmony. That's the real mirror of growth. So we're gonna leave you with that today. I hope you enjoy our session and hope to see you guys in a couple of weeks. Till the next
Wait
time.
1 minute, young lady,
Uh-oh.
1 minute. Have you heard, as you heard, you've heard teaching and a sharing from Ava of ease and flow. She does, and she has a self-mastered program on this very subject. She is very good at it, and she has the tools to make the difference in your life. We both do, but she offers a half an hour sit down conversation. She'll leave the link with you down here. If this really resonated with you, this could be the key to change your life. Like if you just change your life 1%, like let's say if I stay this way, I'm gonna go up. If I change my trajectory just 1%, that Ava could help you in this self-imaging, this new image, the daily image, she can help you, let's say 1%. And you keep going, you're on a totally new trajectory. Your life is going to change. It can't help but change. Call her. She has a wonderful program.
Well, thank you so much, Nikki, for that. I really appreciate it. And Nikki also has amazing programs. We are both here dedicated to help you succeed a lot more in life than where you're at. So, yes, I do offer. And Nikki, you offer a free consultation as well, for half an
I
hour.
do offer a free consultation, but my self-image is kind of built into the program, and you hit it, you go directly to the core of this message, and you go directly and you serve this point in being in life
Yeah.
directly.
That's right, because I know what it takes to shift that, well, we do, we both do. But anyways, thank you so much, and we are here for you. So we hope you have a wonderful day, and check out my videos, Nikki's videos, and love to hear some comments as well. Thank you, and have a great day.